What's up YouTube, this is Justin French, covering music for those who care, and I decided to reboot my channel because I feel like I've said a lot of stuff that I haven't really said I was going to do, so I just decided to go ahead and basically restart so I can actually do exactly what I want to do instead of doing these updates every 2 months. So, I'm gonna redo my CD collection. I have a lot more that I added, so yeah, let's get started. First out, I am going alphabetically, and I picked it out of the stack. So, first album I have is ABBA, Icon, Greatest Hits. If you want to get into ABBA, if you're into 70s pop, I'd definitely give this a listen. If I had a choice, I'd pick SOS. Next album, AC/DC, Back in Black. As you can see, the cover's all black. Pretty fitting. But I'd definitely recommend Title Track or You Shook Me All Night Long. Next one was their latest one, Rock or Bust. It was okay. I'm not a big AC/DC fan just because I think some of the stuff they do is pretty much the same song and dance. So, but if I had to pick a choice, I guess Title Track. And then next one I have is Adele, 21. I mean, pretty much everyone owns this album and the next one I have, so I mean, what can I say? This is a great pop album. My recommended track, probably Rumor Has It or Set Fire to the Rain. And then I have 25. By Adele, same artist. My recommended track is probably River Lee. Next album, Aerosmith, self-titled, my bad. Dream On is the recommended track from that album. Then we get Permanent Vacation, which has Dude Looks Like a Lady. Great track. Greatest Hits, I think 20th Century Masters. This has all the hits. I'd give Crying or Living on the Edge a listen from that. And their latest album, Music from Another Dimension. My recommended track, I think I'll have to go with probably Legendary Child. Next one I have is a classic, Alice Cooper, School's Out. Not really because I'm in college, so school's pretty much not out for me. But I definitely recommend the title track. Then we get into some 90s with Alice in Chains, Facelift. Great 90s grunge album. My recommended track is either We Die Young or Man in the Box, which are two classics right there. And then probably my favorite album by them, Dirt. And this is probably one of the most iconic albums of the 90s too. My recommended track is probably Down the Hole. Next one I have is All American Rejects, Kids in the Street. I'm not a big fan of this album, to be honest with you. I guess my recommended track's probably Some Days Gone, but other than that, pretty much skip it. They're supposed to be coming out with a new album soon. They just released like 2 new tracks. So, next album I have is All-Star Weekend, Suddenly. They were like a Disney Channel band, and I had this, so I was like, okay. If you want to get into this, probably a Different Side of Me. And then we have Anthrax, Madhouse, the very best of, which is the first parental advised album I ever got. This has pretty much all their greatest hits, so if I could recommend one, Got the Time, which is a Joe Jackson, I think that's what his name is. That's his cover. Next one, Anthrax, For All Kings, which comes in this slipcase, which is amazing. It's an amazing album. Definitely one of my favorite albums of 2016 last year. My recommended track is Blood Eagle Wings. Alright, and then I have some pop punk, the Ataris, song Astoria. Not a lot of people know this band or album, but if you want to get into them, definitely check out their cover of Don Henley's The Boys of Summer. That's actually a great cover. And then I have Audio Slave, self-titled, rest in peace Chris Cornell. There will be more of him in the future videos. My recommended track on this is probably either Like a Stone or Show Me How to Live. Alright, then we get into my Avenged Sevenfold collection, which involves Sounding the Seventh Trumpet. If you want to get into it, An Epic of Time Wasted. Waking the Fallen, which has this slip cover. Unholy Confessions. City of Evil. I would recommend probably Backcountry. Self-titled, or people call it the White Album. I'd probably go A Little Piece of Heaven. Nightmare, their best album. I would go with Buried Alive. Hail to the King, which is probably my least favorite by them. It's still a good album. I'd probably go with probably Crimson Day or This Means War. But I mean, they kind of ripped off Metallica on that song, but I mean, it's still a good song. And their latest album, The Stage. And my recommended track on that would be Paradigm. Alright, next one I have is the Avengers soundtrack. My recommended track is Live to Rise by Soundgarden. Chris Cornell again. And then the next two, I can care less for them. Avril Lavigne, Goodbye Lullaby. And self-titled. I don't really have any recommended tracks for those ones. I'm not a big fan. Next one I got is Beastie Boys, Licensed to Ill. Classic hip-hop album. My favorite track is probably No Sleep Till Brooklyn. And then we get into some of the Beatles. Revolver. My recommended track would be either I Want a Rugby or Yellow Submarine. And then Abbey Road. I definitely want to get some more Beatles. I don't have enough of them in my collection, but my recommended track would probably be I Want You, She's So Heavy. Then we get into Black Label Society, which is Zakk Wylde's band. This is their album, Catacombs of the Black Vatican. This is their latest album. My recommended track would probably be My Dying Time. Now we get into some of the heavy stuff, which involves Black Sabbath, self-titled. Great album cover for anyone that's... And this is probably one of the first heavy metal album covers ever. So, or albums ever made. And then next one is Paranoid. This one has some classics. Oh, I never recommended a track on this one. I'd go NIB with self-titled. And this album, there's a lot of them actually. But if I wanted to pick one, I guess Electric Funeral. And then comes my favorite, Master of Reality. My recommended track is Children of the Grave. Volume 4, my recommended track's probably Changes, which is very different from what they've done before. 13, this is their comeback album. And my recommended track is probably God Is Dead. It had a question mark, so I had to do that. And the last one I have for this video is Black Veil Brides, Wretched and Divine, Story of the Wild Ones. My recommended track would probably be Lost It All. So, alright, so stick around for part 2.